Hello, everyone. I'm Adam with Demiplane. Thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session. We're going to jump right in. Our lineup, as always, is we're going to talk about the latest updates, the things that we have been working on for the last week or so since I spoke to you last, and the things that we are currently continuing to work on. And then we will talk about what is upcoming. So that is the stuff that is on deck, the things that are on that short-term horizon that we're going to get to after we complete what we're currently working on. Today, we're also giving away a Pathfinder standalone adventures bundle. This has got some great content in it. A couple of these adventures in that bundle are go-tos for me when I'm going to run some Pathfinder. They really are great for in between story arcs in your campaign, or if you're doing a one shot with friends to try to introduce them to Pathfinder. But there's a chance for you to win that today. Pay attention to the prompts in chat to enter to win. And then, as always, you can ask me anything, and I do mean anything. Doesn't mean that I always have answers for everything. Sometimes I don't know. I think a few weeks ago somebody asked me about the E3 replacement. I didn't know what it was called, but I'm going to answer everything that I know about, and I don't shy away from any questions. So you can do that starting now. All you have to do is type the word question and follow that by the question itself, and I'll get to as many as I can at the end of our stream today. All right, let's jump in. Latest updates. We are working on, and I believe the next installment of Stolen Fate is, and I think both of those are coming next week. So it'll be, I think next Tuesday night at midnight Pacific. But those should be available next week. Looking forward to getting those out. We're also kind of wrapping up some work on the Hero deck. We're going to have the Hero deck itself, and then we've got something new that we're just kind of experimenting with an interactive version of the Hero deck, and I'll share more on that pretty soon here as well. On the character tools front, we have got a kind of a platform level change that is going in with a build today, where we're going to sort available options to you. So options that you've unlocked in the builder are going to be sorted, and the things that you see first, and then things that you need to still unlock are going to be in alphabetical order under that. So we've seen that feedback out there. That's going to be going out today. We also are adding bulk tracking to items there, and another thing where you can add in free text for other items that might not be covered by your standard equipment items that are formal items in the game. So those are all things going out. We'll look at all the patch notes here in just a little bit. And then the remaster project, you can pre-order those books now. We're working on, the things that we can work on right now that we know about. We're still waiting for to get that final content. And as soon as we get that final content, we will keep you updated on how the approach is going to take shape here with Pathfinder Nexus. On Avatar Legends Nexus, you saw a little tease last week of I can't remember if it was the builder or the sheet, but we're making really great progress here. Very excited to see that progress as quickly as it is. We'll have more news and more things that we can show you before too much longer there as well. 5e Nexus early access configuration is continuing. We're making very solid progress there too. I would, again, this is not concrete in any way, but I feel like by next month is a pretty safe thing to say that we'll have 5e Nexus early access up and running. There are things that can change that, so different priorities popping up, but we're making the progress, and my gut check right now is somewhere around there. For Vampire and Hunter, we're also we've gotten the content for the player's guide and lines drawn in blood. We're working on those. I hope to see those, also kind of in that same time period somewhere. I'm not sure which is going to come first, but we're going to see before too much longer the player's guide and lines drawn in blood be available. And of course, we are also hovering around the vampire character tools and some of the work, that we're doing for Avatar. We're doing in parallel for Vampire, and so the character tools for Vampire are coming this year for sure. And it's going to be the back half of the year, but we hope it's going to be as early in that back half as possible. And again, more to show on that before too much longer. Very excited about how all of that is shaping up. All right, let's take a look at our character tools open beta short-term roadmap. As we have been, we are gonna, I'm gonna continue to share this just where everyone is aware of what we're looking at, with the most focus. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, we've got bulk that is going in today. Some of these other items you're going to see start to appear here in the coming weeks as well. And other than bulk being going out today, there are no changes to this. So we're not changing focus on anything. This is still the plan. Update notes for today. And again, I don't know if this is going to go out here, immediately after the stream. It might be a little bit later this afternoon. But those character builder updates, as I mentioned, you're going to see, for instance, for Pathfinder, that when you go to the ancestries, backgrounds, or classes section, options that you have available to you that you have unlocked, either through purchasing or content sharing, those are all going to bubble up to the top of the list. To make that a little bit easier to understand what you can work with. And then we are also continuing the multi-game support, as I mentioned, for Avatar and Vampire, and making some really solid progress there. On the character sheet side, we've added the bulk calculation in the equipment section, and that also means that several of the feats and features that kind of tie into bulk would have been updated with this too. So all of that should be, unlocked with that as well. And you'll be able to track bulk and encumbrance and all of those things. And then finally, we take a look at the Green Watch Initiate feat, and it's now correctly increasing the survival skill to expert. There are some other skill proficiency related, tweaks and fixes that should be going in with this update, and if not this update, something a little bit later this week. We've seen the feedback, so appreciate all the help testing out there. It is really helping us fine tune everything that we need to have going on for Pathfinder. Don't forget that we have, let's see, is this episode 4 or is this episode 5? 5. This is episode 5 of The Claw Firm. This is an incredible show with an incredible cast, and you can check out episode 5 Wednesday night. So tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific. If you want to catch up on the other episodes, all of that is available on our YouTube channel as well. On the upcoming front, again, nothing's changed with that short-term roadmap for our open beta. We've got Rage of Elements that we're working on. There are certainly some, we'll call them precursors to the core remaster that are present in Rage of Elements, which I think is a great thing. That means that the kineticist is not going to need to be remastered immediately after it comes out. It's going to come pre-mastered or whatever that would be. So we are getting a little bit of an early look at how the remaster is going to be impacting things there. But we're working on Rage of Elements, and of course I've talked about the remaster project. As I mentioned also earlier, for 5e Nexus Early Access. So again, to remind everyone, Early Access here is going to be having our initial slate of publisher partners that are going to be available in the digital reader and the game compendium. And we expect that to come by next month. And then our list of character tools, the next games that we are working on, we expect Marvel and 5e to be a little bit later this year. But we do expect to start that work, before the end of this year. All right, I think it is time for questions. Blew through those updates today. I heard, over the last several weeks that the giveaway gets prompted here before questions. So I moved the screen to here. So hopefully all that's going to be going on magically in chat. Good luck to everyone out there, and we will get to our questions. Uh-oh. I don't have any questions at the moment. This might be the first time that I have ever seen this. And so I don't know if Demibot is sick or if no one has had a question, as I went too quickly through the updates today. So if anyone has a question, feel free. Oh, here we've got one. So I do know that it is working. So if anyone has any questions, I'll give you a few minutes to get some of those in. And otherwise, I will scoot out of here and get back to work. So we've got one that's come in that is an old favorite, Anchor 89 Dinosaur for the week. This is I've been rereading a lot of original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics of late. And so I'm going to go with a Triceratops because I'm a big fan of the Triceraton Empire. So we're going to say a Triceratops as of this week. That's going to be my answer for this time. UK Haiku, how excited are you for High Helm? I'm on the edge of my seat for it. Very excited for High Helm because I get to see this stuff earlier. A lot of my excitement probably happened several weeks ago, but I'm still very, very excited for all of you to be able to see it. Huge fan of dwarven culture in most of these tabletop role-playing games, and High Helm is a really great take on everything that's going on there. Big fan of everything I'm seeing, and I hope that it can really enhance games out there. Across the years, I've played with so many different players and groups, and there's always somebody in virtually every group that is wanting to play a dwarf and is super hardcore about kind of capturing that feel of being a dwarf. And sometimes in those games, it's been difficult to point them to a resource that they can kind of self-serve. I mean, I can, feed them information myself, or I could, possibly point them to 10 different books to do it. This is going to be a great resource if you have players that you want to point to a single resource to get a really, really good cross-section of dwarven cultures. So very, very excited about it indeed. Artemis Themp, how far is Extinction Curse, Strength of Thousands, and the beginner box? No updates on Extinction Curse or Strength of Thousands. We are not working on those at the moment. We have the other things that I've been talking about ahead of those. I can share on the beginner box. We have started a little bit of work there. We also have plans to include the pre-gen characters from the beginner box, probably even on the homepage before too much longer, where people can, with a pre-generated character, be able to jump straight into the character sheet to kind of get a feel for it and try it out before having to go through the character creation process. And so part of that, of getting some of those pre-gens in, we do expect to get the beginner box adventure also up and available. So that one is going to come before the other two that you've listed here, and we'll keep everybody posted on that. Revos one. Any news on Starfinder? No news at this point, but we will be doing Starfinder. There's just no actual concrete information that we can share at this point in time. Calexis 1986. Are you a gamer outside of TRPGs? Yeah. I guess I guess I would consider myself that. I certainly play video games when I am able to, and it's hard for me to find that time sometimes. But I adore Tears of the Kingdom. I am not finished with it yet, and by finished, I typically mean doing everything, all the shrines, all the everything. So I have not been able to play it as much as I would like. I'm looking forward to the time where I can get back into that a little bit. So huge Legend of Zelda fan. I am looking forward to finally jumping into Diablo 4. But for me, it takes a really special game to get me to play a video game. But I do love it when I get to do it. So I would say that I do not play board games or collectible card games or anything like that. And it's there are a variety of factors for that. Board games, I typically have been too bored to play them. Every time I say that, someone who loves board games out there tells me that I'm playing the wrong board games, which is a very fair assessment and probably accurate. But yeah, I don't really favor board games. If I'm going to get together with people around a table, I am typically going to be doing a tabletop role playing game. And then card games have never been into it. I wanted to do Magic when I was a kid because of the artwork was just incredible. But I had no money for any of the cards or anything like that. So never got into that. When I play games, it is predominantly, and I'll almost say exclusively, tabletop role playing games. And again, nothing at all against any of the other types of gaming out there. It's just what I enjoy doing the most. All right, AKA Kira, will there be a way to separate one shots from the rest of the standalone adventures or a sub search filter for books since there are so many? There are several things that we will likely do for that, what is currently a sources page in the future. So I can't say that there will be a way to separate them necessarily, but or the specifics behind the approach. But we understand there are a lot of books on that page now, and that improvements are needed, and we'll be looking into improvements and making that a better experience as we get forward a little bit further down the road. We've in our minds we've got some bigger fish to fry right now, but that's not to say that we won't see some other quality of life improvements on that front as we get progress a little bit more. Fear Grounds, what is your favorite vampire clan and why is it Tzimisce? It's not. I would say that it has to be Gangrel, probably for me. I don't know. There's something about I like the Ventru a pretty good bit as well. But Gangrel to me, if I am playing, oh, you hear my dogs out there. If I am playing a vampire game, a lot of the time I am doing that in order to just really unleash, and maybe some therapeutic outlet, or something. And the Gangrel are very appealing to me for that reason. I also like the outcast, kind of feel to that clan. So the Gangrel is going to be my favorite. But again, I like all of them. I really do, and that's one of the best things about the World of Darkness is that all of the clans have something that is really engaging and intriguing about them. and interesting. So, but I would probably have to go Gangrel. All right, couple more, and then I will get out of here and get back to work. Cato Flex, how soon after the Marvel Multiverse role playing game comes out can we look forward to seeing character tools? Too early for us to answer that at this point in time. The best that I can do is what I shared earlier, is to kind of show where they are in the queue. So Marvel will be the game that we work on after Vampire is out. So we've got Pathfinder and Avatar and Vampire, and then after that, Marvel will be the one that gets the focus. Following that, and we'll provide more updates when we get there. And then last one here, Artemis Thimp, do you own any of the Pathfinder Pawn collection or accessories? No, I don't own any of those. Well, I'm trying to. I might have. I might have one of those. I do receive some things from other partners out there sometimes, and so I may have them. I don't really use them in my games typically. Most of my games do end up being, mind theater and online, and so I don't use them, really frequently. I might have one of those products, in a box somewhere, but I do think that they are an excellent option for groups that want to use physical representations of their characters at the table. Very affordable compared to dropping hundreds and hundreds of dollars on other options out there. And so I love what options they provide, but they're just not something that find their way into my games most of the time. All right, had one more come in that I will do. 3 Dragon minimum. That's a good username. How does your game prep as a player different for a home versus online game versus a live stream? Yeah, this is a great question, and I think that I think sometimes we try to fool ourselves into saying that our streamed game is just a home game that we happen to broadcast, because not to say that that doesn't sometimes happen, but honestly, shows that have been around, or that have any kind of production involved in them, there absolutely is a difference in the feel of those games. There's a difference in performing and playing, and some of the best live streamed shows out there blend the two in really, really effective ways, and it's one of the reasons that they are incredibly popular shows. But I don't buy it that it's people just playing as they would at home. I have not encountered that in the last many years that I've been streaming and involved in stream productions. So first of all, I will say that I do see and believe that there is a difference in the two types of games. And I would say that honestly, personally, streamed games for me are a little bit more focused and to the point. There isn't as much what I will call ambling or idleness, humor, jokes, and not that those things don't exist in streams, but when I get together for a home game, we are often doing things that have nothing to do with the game for half the time that we're together, and that's okay, because the groups that I'm playing with, we enjoy that, and so I think it's there's a difference in focus of what you're trying to accomplish. I think that both of them are trying to accomplish fun, and I think it just ends up shaking out that it's different kinds of fun with what I've seen over the last 7 or 8 years. And so yeah, I would say that that's the biggest thing for me, is that there is a difference, and that when I am prepping for either of them, I am going to probably put in a little bit more prep for the live streamed part of that, because the audience is, hundreds or thousands of people, whereas the home game is an audience of 5 or 6 people that are playing there, and I am more intimate and familiar with what the 5 or 6 people in that smaller home group, with what they find as fun and what will satisfy that most important condition. Whereas it's ambiguous when it comes to an audience out there. And so, I think there's a level of comfort with the home games that is just different. And again, I play a lot of both types of this, and I love them both. For slightly different reasons, probably, but at the end of the day, I think as long as they are hitting the fun condition, as long as they are checking that box strongly, it's good stuff. So I would say the difference in, the question specifically here, prep as a player, I think that I just take it a little further, and a little more focus when I'm doing it for a stream game, because when I'm playing with my friends, there is probably some kind of over the years we've developed an unwritten and unsaid communication with one another that allows some of that to be bypassed, probably, is what I would say. But yeah, great question, and I appreciate all the questions today. We're almost at time anyway. Thanks everyone for joining me. We'll have a build going out here a little bit later today, so I will post update notes when that build goes out. So keep an eye on that. We are going to continue working on everything that we have on our short-term roadmap for the open beta for Pathfinder, and we'll have more on Avatar and Vampire before too much longer. We're really excited to see the progress there. Join us for a new episode of Children of Erte tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. I am really I'm really anxious about that one. And unfortunately, tying back to that last question, there's not a lot that I can prep, because I just genuinely have no idea what is going to happen next year, which is a great place to be, and I can't wait to play through it. So join us tonight for that 6 p.m. Pacific, and don't miss episode 5 of the Claw Firm tomorrow night at the same time. Hope everyone has a great week. Later, Gators.